Hey, Arcturus here. Today we're looking at the Hogwarts Castle Herbology class from Lego Harry Potter. This is set 76445 and comes with 390 pieces and builds a very nice small greenhouse. So like your video on the way in, and let's take a look at this set. Move this box out of the way. And then we have our nice set. For 390 pieces, it's a relatively simple build. There are, of course, several small pieces in it, but it is a very nice greenhouse build. So it is a little cramped at the moment, so we can go ahead and take out these classroom sections, and those actually just attach as one piece, including the base there. And we'll take a look closer at those in a second. But first, let's look at the actual greenhouse build. So as I mentioned, it is a small build, just a small little greenhouse section. I particularly like this build. I think it looks great. I like the dragon pieces as the downspouts. It also has this nice tree coming up out of the greenhouse and some additional dragon details here on the front side. At least that's how I'm calling it, because that's where it opens from. The back side does not have those details, but could line up with some other pieces of the castle or be sectioned off. However, it does not come with the pieces to do so, but there are some rounded top pieces that can fit in these. That might work well if you wanted to go a little further with this set than just what comes in the box. So inside we get a nice interior of the tree. We get some small mushrooms growing into the greenhouse. I think dirigible plums, if I remember Harry Potter correctly here. A mandrake of some sort of large flower with teeth, maybe a venomous tentacula. Don't quite know on that one. Some gardening tools here, an axe and a shovel. Probably very important when gardening in the wizarding world. Spider sneaking in here as well. We have a nice fountain here with a pink flower and also a toad, which is probably Trevor, Neville Longbottom's pet toad, since Neville is in the set. I particularly like the little details here of these sort of arches for the ceiling support. I think that's a nice little touch as they go right under the downspouts for the roof, which is quite nice. They are just a simple little umbrella for this a set of this size. That does not surprise me. The roofs do just attach by those sort of hinged pieces here to give you that nice sort of angle, there. And here is the rest of the outside sort of panoramic view there. I particularly like the set. I think it looks really nice, especially for such a small build. Sometimes with these smaller builds, they look okay, but they just don't have quite enough detail. But I think this one works quite well. It would be nice to get a larger greenhouse build for Hogwarts. Maybe they've had one before, but I just wasn't around for it. But this is quite nice for the size that you get. I do like it. I particularly like how the tree just kind of pops up out of the top there. And we do have two other pieces left for this build as part of the build and not the minifigures. And that's this section for the cuttings from the plants. So you have some buds here, a pile of maybe the fruits here as well, or spores or seeds or whatever you like it to be, as well as some hedge trims, as well as some hedge shears here as well. And those just attach very easily, can attach by those grabbers there. And I'll show you where they attach in a second, although we've already seen it. And then we get our little mandrakes, which is quite nice. They do have the little tiny small bodies with printing in sort of a wooden style to match that root there. And nothing, of course, on the back. Makes sense, but they do have a nice little face there and a watering can to get them wet. And they're just kind of peeking out grumpily from the pots here, which I think is a nice touch. Also have the earmuffs for their shrieking cries to protect your ears. So these just attach very simply by that grabbing piece here on the back to that piece there. Just nice and simple. And they just slide in there as needed. You can swap them however you like. Put them in, take them out, however you like. And then there they are, fully assembled. A nice, tight, compact build. Very little room in there, of course, because it is only 390 pieces, but it is a nice build nonetheless. For minifigures, we have Neville Longbottom here with just a Herbology jacket and some earmuffs, as well as his wand and some gloves. And you do have a second face there for Neville, depending on how you prefer him. And then I do like the addition of the slight buck teeth there, as that's not actually a smile, but instead his teeth. Whereas on this one, it is a smile. So then we have Hermione, similarly attired for Herbology class. Very similar, with the hairpiece, of course, and a secondary face, sort of, shocked or disgusted at what's going on in Herbology class, and then a more smirking face there, more confident. And then we have Professor Sprout with her attire as seen in the movie. Nice browns for Herbology class. Very, gardener-esque. There are some nice details there on the hood, which don't come through super well because they are sort of in a very faint sort of silver white there. It's difficult to see them, but there are some nice details there. She does have a secondary face as well as the front, and her hat does come with the earmuffs built in. Turn that ever so slightly there. So that is all one piece there for the hat. There's not an alternate piece for this one. Anyway, that's all I have for today. Don't forget to subscribe to see more videos, and I will see you in the next one.